Welcome to Early Nights. Soon to be the number one sleep resource in the world, I am your host and sleep expert, Andre Joseph Dipka. Welcome to the show. My mission is to help people fall back in love with sleep. And we're going a little bit out of left field today because we're going to be talking about travel and we're going to tie it into sleep as well. Today I have Emily joining me. Emily, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
Good.
So you have a pretty crazy, I don't know if it's your story, but I seen you on Instagram and I seen that you've been to 185 different countries. How old are you?
You're not supposed to ask a lady how old she
True,
is. Come
true,
on.
true. Well,
No,
you look
I'm
so
20.
young to be going to 185
No,
countries.
no, it's fine. No, I'm 29. I've been traveling for the past 8 years. Well, I started right before my 21st birthday. I went to Norway and yeah, it just kind of snowballed. And I thought, well, I've already done Europe. Maybe I should go to Southeast Asia. And then I thought, well, why not go to Latin America?
Mm.
It just kind of snowballed. And now I'm at 185. So I'm like about 10 away from completing all of them.
I
I'm
told a
almost,
few I told a few friends about having you on, and
yeah,
they said I didn't even know there's 185 countries.
no,
Most people don't
sorry.
know anything about the world.
Yeah, well, you have to be careful with that question, how many countries are there? Because you can offend a lot of people. You can
Mm.
get it gets a little nitty-gritty. So I always tread lightly, but yeah, I'm very close to being done with all the UN countries, the United Nations countries. So yeah,
Okay.
it's really exciting. I can't wait.
So your first one was Norway. You're from the
Yeah.
US, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm from the United States. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you
first
went
one
to
was
so you
Norway.
went to Norway first. Was there a reason for that? Are you from
I
Norway?
I had a
Family?
friend in Norway. He came and visited me in the United States, and then I thought, oh well, Norway sounds amazing. I want to go to Norway. So I went to go visit him for a summer, and then you get over in Europe. It's so easy to travel through Europe because they
Mm.
have the transportation getting around is so easy, and you can get through the 50 countries in Europe with ease. So I started bouncing around, and then yeah, and then that's exactly what happened. I got done. I thought, well, I'm a quarter of the way done with the world. I might as well just keep going.
Yeah.
And and then it just snowballed. I just recently went to Algeria. That was my 185th, and then I'm going to Venezuela, so that'll be 186.
Okay, cool. So take us
Yeah.
back. You're doing a trip over to Norway. Do you plan
Yeah.
on spending months there? Like, what's the idea going into it? And then what ended up happening?
Oh yeah, I spent about a month there, but I thought I was going to spend about 3 months there. So I spent a month there, and then I thought, well, there's so much so much more in Europe that I want to go see. And I thought, well, Sweden is right next door. I have to go to Sweden,
Mm.
because you get up there and you're like, well, it's only like a 2 hour drive. We have to go see that. And yeah, and then the next 2 months I started bopping around, and then I got over there and I thought, well, I don't necessarily have to go home. I don't, there's no reason for me to go home. I might as well just stay over in Europe. So, yeah, that is what got me hooked. And, yeah, it's been quite the adventure. So, uh, yeah, it was Norway's fault. It was really their fault.
So Norway's pretty cool.
It's so cool. Yeah, it's so amazing. The landscapes are amazing. The people are amazing. It's just, and you can't see it's huge. People underestimate the vast land of Norway. So I only saw like a little portion of it, and I haven't been back since. So I want to go back and see more. But yeah, it's still one of my favorite places. I mean, it was just amazing to go see, and yeah, I'm ready for another visit to Scandinavia
For the
soon.
people who have only ever lived in the US, never traveled outside of it, tell them a little bit about the transportation system in Europe because a lot of people have no idea what it's like. They're used to this the way it is over here.
Oh, it depends what part of Europe you're into. I mean, Eastern Europe, one thing about it, it's very easy, and there is transportation in Europe. There's affordable transportation, which is not, people think, well, yeah, of course there's affordable transportation, but that's not the case for a lot of the world, right? So no, it's nice because everybody takes the public transportation. If you took public transportation here in the United States, you'd meet some very interesting characters, and you probably wouldn't feel the same way as in Europe. But no, I mean, for the most part, it's very clean. Um, all of Eastern Europe. I mean, it was very, very clean, very, very easy to get from one place to another, and you can hop from country to country. I always say, I know that always comes from Europeans. They say, "Oh, Americans have never left their country," but could you imagine if you needed your passport to go to like Georgia?
Yeah.
Like,
For sure.
it's a, we have quite a lot of land, right? To get to another country, we have an 8 hour flight at least, probably, but unless it's Canada or Mexico. But no, it's very, very simple. You do get a little bit, you get into some sketchy areas around Western Europe, right? But no, for the most part, it's nice. You don't need a car. You don't have to rent a car to travel
Yeah.
through Europe. And then they have low cost airlines all over Europe too. I always try to avoid them. I would rather take a train than take the flights.
Same,
But
same.
yeah, if you really wanted to, you could get, from one place to another very quickly. One of the trains that I really want to take that I haven't taken yet is from London to Paris. I don't know if you're
Mm,
familiar with that one,
I'm
but it
not.
goes underneath the channel.
Okay,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
underneath
I
water.
was gonna
And
take that.
yeah, I've never taken a train underneath the ocean before. I guess it's a channel, but I've never done that. So this is something very high on my list that I want to do soon.
Yeah, it was a shock for me because I grew up in New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York. And
Yeah.
so I'm used to every city being like dirty and sketchy and like,
Yeah.
okay, there's bad neighborhoods here and there. And I go to Poland. I actually flew into Sweden, flew into Denmark, stayed in Denmark, Sweden, Germany,
Mhm.
France, and Poland. And I stayed in Poland for a few months. The
Mm.
entire city is colorful, beautiful, no trash anywhere.
It's
Of course, they have
amazing.
homeless, but it's like not right in your face, not in the, you know, you go to sit somewhere and someone's bothering you. It's just like beautiful. And I thought I thought just being a city meant sketchy until I went to Europe.
No, but Poland is such an exception because it's so beautiful there and everything's so safe.
Yeah.
Um, I mean that's really exceptional to go to Poland or Hungary. Hungary is still very safe. Not a lot has changed in those countries, so it's still very, very nice to travel through them.
It's funny
Uh,
because I'm half Polish and half Hungarian.
oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
you have a little bit of each then. No, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, those are two of my favorites in all of Europe.
So
It's so safe
you've been
there.
to both
So
of those,
nice.
obviously. What
Oh
did
yeah.
you so you went from Norway and you went to Sweden. What was it like going from Western Europe to Eastern Europe?
Uh, well, it's a different world.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a completely
Tell me
different world.
why.
You go to Eastern Europe, and you're immersed in a homogenous culture of safe, amazing people, and then you go to Western Europe, and you're in a metropole. So you're just thrown into everything. And I mean, that's partially why I was so ready to travel after I went to those places because you some people that will tell me, oh, but you went to Afghanistan, that's so unsafe. And I'm like, half of Afghanistan is in Western Europe.
Hmm.
It's not really that different. We just saw somebody almost get, not to be dark, but we just saw somebody almost get beheaded in Belfast, right? So
Yeah, I saw that.
um it's a totally different world, and people, I always say the third world is not a place, it's a people. So that Western Europe has completely transformed, unfortunately in the past 30, 40 years. And it's not safe. There's
Hmm.
stabbings every single day. So it's very, very sad. I'm Scottish and English, so it hurts me because
Yeah.
you're Polish and Hungarian. You get to go back to your homeland and feel safe. I
Hmm.
go back to Glasgow, and we don't feel safe, especially as a woman. It's very, very disheartening and sad in many
Yeah.
cases.
And the
Yeah,
grooming inquiry just came out. The
it's horrible. It's
yeah.
horrible. I have read through, and I had to stop. I had to take a break and stop because I just couldn't get through it. Um, I think what's even more just incredible is that you have people on the other side of the aisle, right? And they're saying, oh, well, it's just not true. That's just not
Yeah.
true. And I'm going, what would make it any better? One is too many. They're going,
Yeah.
no, well, it wasn't 250,000. It was only 110,000. And I'm going, 110,000. It's just incredible how people will deny something so evil that's going on
Yeah,
right
I
in front
think
of our
part of the
faces.
problem is like trying to rationalize with these people because they're clearly bad
No,
actors and
it
you
doesn't. And
know.
I think it's just it's a yearning for moral superiority really at the
Mm,
heart of it. And if they can get that moral superiority, that feeling, they've proven there's a kind of like a little, when people feel that way, it's kind of like a drug in their brain,
yeah.
and they get addicted to it and they want to have that feeling more and more. So they'll do anything to get that little hit, that little drug of feeling morally superior. And it's very sad. So
It's crazy that protecting little girls is controversial. That's what gets me, right? It's like
It's heartbreaking. And I don't know if you have kids, but I
I
don't have
don't know.
kids. And I think like, what would you do if you lived in London? You're living in a
Mm,
place where your ancestors have been for what, over 1,000 years, and
mm,
you can't let your daughter walk home alone when your grandmothers and your great grandmothers all walked home after
yeah.
school alone, and now you can't. You
I
know,
seen it.
it's
I seen a crazy clip where it's like some woman from Europe goes to Poland. She's like, I get to walk around 2 a.m. by myself. I'm like, that's
no,
really the surprising, like to or not surprising, but that's like the standard where people are just used to the other side where you can. It's just crazy that we're just used to it being
I know.
dangerous, it being sketchy. We thought it was the norm, and it's like it doesn't have to be.
No, we don't have to live like this. We really don't. I know it's everybody says that, but it's so true. I don't know how we're going to get out of it. I hope we do, because
Mm,
I mean it's London, like the British Empire,
yeah.
in France, you go to Paris, and it's not the city of romance and love anymore, right?
Mm.
It's a city of stabbing and rapes. So, it's yeah, it's disheartening. It's so heartbreaking to see, but I
Yeah,
do think that
I
we're
don't
we're on
have
the right path.
kids. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't
no,
have
you're fine.
kids, but I have sisters, like I have family,
Yeah.
or and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like I walk them even here. I'll walk them if they're going even 5 minute walk because I'm like I don't know who the heck's here because at my whole neighborhood is different people that I've never seen before. So
You don't even know
you
who's
don't know
living
who
around
these
you.
people are. Whereas my parents,
No.
when they grew up, it's like you all the families knew each other. You know.
There was always a community, and I think that's how it was supposed to be. You're supposed to have around 100 people that maybe you don't know super close, but that you know of, right? Everybody
Yeah.
knows each other, and you at least have a community. And our communities and our families have just been, they've been completely destroyed from this. Again, it's just a multicultural little dumpster fire that they've created. So it's
Right.
very, very sad. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's unfortunate it's unbelievable what's happening. And then you go to Eastern Europe. Was that like a shock to you to see the difference, or what year were you doing this?
It was 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a shock. I I just remember feeling so safe in
Mm,
Eastern Europe, and I remember going to Ukraine, and a lot of the Ukraine has some from communism. There's a lot of parts where you'll go into a park and like the stairs are destroyed, right? Or like the infrastructure is not great, but the people are nice, and everybody, it's safe. Even though
yeah.
even though there's a little, there's corruption in every single government, but that doesn't mean that your country has to look like a bomb went off in it.
Right.
When you go to Africa, you go to every single country, and if you ask anybody, you ask, well, hey, what's going on? Why does your country look like this? What's going on? They'll say, well, it's our leaders, it's corruption in the government. And it's like, well, there's a lot of corrupt governments out there, and they don't look like this. So that's
Yeah.
not really why.
Right.
That's a nice thing to say, but it's not the truth. So
There's also a personal responsibility to your
of
space
course,
and your neighborhood for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we've lost that personal responsibility, especially in Western Europe and in the West. Maybe not Eastern Europe so much, but no, we have, and we have to go back and kind of find our roots and regather at some point.
Yeah.
I think it's coming.
Y-
You see what's going on in Belfast.
Yeah. I
People
listened
aren't
to an
having it.
interview with some Irish people, and
Yeah.
they're not having it. They don't.
No,
Thank God.
I'm so relieved that there are still people in the world with common sense and
Mm,
who love their families and their communities and want to keep them that way.
yeah. Yeah.
It's refreshing actually to see. Yeah.
I'm really glad. Have you ever heard of Kensington in Philadelphia?
Oh, I'm thinking of Kensington Palace. No, I haven't. What
It's where like there's these videos online. It's only 10 minutes from me, but like where they
yeah.
have the fentanyl epidemic, where people are the zombies walking around. It's really famous over here. The only reason I brought it up is because I'm seeing more and more of those type of videos populate in Germany and different places where they are selling drugs to people, and it's just crazy to see it spread. Because I believe a lot of it started over here. They do
You
the
know,
horse tranquilizer, they do all that stuff, and they're standing like this and they're not falling over. You never seen
yeah.
those videos? It's crazy.
Um, you know what that reminds me of actually, when I went to Afghanistan, people don't know this. I don't think that the average American would know this, but Afghanistan, they have an opioid problem in Afghanistan. And when you go there, the Taliban, when you're driving from the airport, there's Taliban members on both sides of the streets.
Mhm.
And I didn't know what to expect. I'd seen videos and pictures of them online, and I knew a little bit, but they all have the AK-47s. And when you look at their eyes, they're just high as a kite. I mean, they're just like,
Mhm.
it's just terrifying. And it kills me because I remember again feeling so unsafe in Afghanistan when we went. It was just so terrifying to know that there's somebody who's out of their mind. They have an AK-47, and are they trained with a firearm? I don't know.
Mm.
But they're standing there, and you go into these large cities in the United States and all over, again, Western Europe, like you're talking about. Even what do they call it in San Francisco? They call it not the thyroid, the
Yeah, Skid Row.
yeah, that one's over in LA, but there's another
Mm.
one. There's one that's just as bad. But yeah, you get that. It's like a little bit of third worldism in the US and in Western Europe. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's
for
just
sure.
yeah, it's terrifying. It's
I
absolutely terrifying.
I stayed on a farm in Moultrie, Georgia,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a bus back. This was years ago, not that long ago, like 5 years ago. So I took
Mhm.
a bus, and it took me through like Atlanta. It took me through like parts of Richmond, Virginia. I'm like, this is a third world place. There's
Yeah.
feces all over the bathrooms, on the floors. There's urine.
Yeah.
Every bus smells like urine. It's so sketchy, and I'm like, no wonder no one uses public transport, because when I was in Europe, it's like every
I
10
know.
minutes. It's super cheap. It goes by every 10 minutes. You're not waiting 2 hours for a bus. It's really convenient. It all connects to everything. And I'm like, wow.
Well, when I was in the first time I went to Paris, France, it was 2018, and they had won the World Cup. Speaking, the
Mm-hmm.
World Cup's going on right now, and this year France had won the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And I found myself out in Paris. I didn't know what the Moulin Rouge was. I didn't know that was a topless show. So I went to it because as a girl, you see the movie with Nicole Kidman, and I thought it was cute, like a
What was it
cute
called?
comedy show. The Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a topless show. Don't go to that if you have kids. I didn't know. But anyways, I went to that show, and then I got out that night, and they had just won the World Cup, and it was buffoonery. I mean, people were on top of cars. It was sketchy too, because they were on top of cars, moving cars, and they were dancing on the poles, and
Yeah.
nobody spoke French. Like, you try
Yeah.
to speak French to somebody and nobody knows French. And I was trying to get out of that situation to get back to my hotel. And I went to go try to take public transport. And it was just like what you're saying. People were urinating, they were defecating.
Mm-hmm.
And this was after they won. So this was them celebrating.
Yeah. I see all
And
that footage. Yeah.
yeah, we just saw it with, I think it was the PSG, right? In
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
France. Yeah. And I'm going, how is this acceptable? This is how you celebrate? You go and tear up somebody's vehicle? Is that a celebration?
I've
I
seen
don't,
those side by side videos where they're destroying Paris, and then Poland wins something, and they're all like jumping up and down together. They're happy. If there's trash afterwards, they pick it up. It's like common sense, like you said.
yeah, it's just complete buffoonery. And I'm going, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. The leaders at the top obviously have no care in the world of the French people or the
Mhm.
Europeans. Their
Which
government
is
treats
such a
them like
shame. Like,
garbage.
I remember growing up, and I don't know if it's because I'm disagreeable and Polish or whatever, but I remember growing
Yeah.
up and like butting heads with the Irish kids, butting heads with the Italian kids, and I'm like, oh, I can't stand these guys. Now that I've grown up, I'm like, I love them. I want them to, stay around. I want them to have their culture. It's so sad.
I know. Well, I know, and that's another, we should be able to kind of beef with each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we shouldn't have, when we beef with each other, it's different. That's a
Mm-hmm.
different beef, and it's not a dangerous threat to people's lives. Even when, like,
Yeah.
the Irish and the English were having their tiff, the Irish would use bombs, but they would bomb the infrastructure. They weren't bombing the English people.
Mm, right.
When I was over in Algeria, I was shocked because I was on a tour in Algiers, the capital, and I had a female tour guide, and she was taking me around, and she takes me into the home of this teenager that used to live in Algiers, and she's talking about how he used to make homemade bombs. and,
Mm,
and then give them to little girls, and the little girls would hide them in their clothing and then go proceed to suicide bomb in the parts of the French parts of Algiers. And she was like, yeah, we have paintings of this guy everywhere in Algiers. We really memorialize him because he helped us fight against the French. And I'm going, he helped you fight against the French. He was making bombs and killing innocent people. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? And she was making them out to be martyrs. And I just thought, this is wild. I mean, these people have we're totally incompatible, because
Mm.
never in the West, even in Ireland, again, they were blowing up train stations and things like that to try to get their independence right there. The
Right.
beef between the Irish and English, but they were not going out and bombing children. Like, that's like
Yeah.
the Irish would never do that. And you'd never put a painting of somebody like that on a wall.
And
It's
the
unheard of.
propaganda's working because people will defend that stuff.
I
It,
know. Well,
and I'm talking about
that's the
people in the
scary part too.
US and the
I
people in the
know.
US, like family
I know.
members who are completely reasonable, good people who are just
Yeah.
like really left, they will defend things that you wouldn't think they'd ever say out loud. It's strange.
No, no, and I can't keep my mouth shut anymore around friends and family. I mean,
Mhm.
I had an old Instagram account that had a lot more followers, but it got taken down. Um, I can't be quiet anymore, because I'm going, if
Mhm.
you're going to spread something so hateful and vitriol as suicide bombing and martyrize it, right?
Yeah.
I can give my opinion too, and we can't continue to stay silent just for the sake of, that's the boomer mentality, in my opinion. They
Yeah. Yeah.
they thought, oh, we're going to take the high road and we're not going to say anything that might offend anyone, and it's like, well, we're kind of past that. Like, we're
Yeah, for
being
sure.
invaded. Yeah.
That's what stuck out about your account. You had 185 countries. You shared your, travels, but you had like 200 something followers. I'm like, how's that make any
I
sense?
I have to rebuild my entire Instagram following now. I have a small following on YouTube too. I have like
Mhm.
30 35, or I think I'm at 35,000. But yeah, I have like no followers on my Instagram because my whole account got taken away, and it was so detrimental to me, because I had stories from every single country from the
Yeah.
past 6 years, and some woke DEI hire at Meta just deleted my entire account, and I'm like, you deleted you deleted
Wow.
8 years of travel history. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I share something saying, hey, I don't want little girls to get raped, and then I get my
Yeah.
my entire account taken away from me.
That's where they draw the line. Yeah.
That's where they draw the line. Yeah,
Okay.
we got to sacrifice the white girls, right, for
So,
the diversity.
yeah, unbelievable. I mean, if you don't
Yeah.
protect your daughters, you have nothing to fight for. If that's what's crazy. If that's not waking people up to fight back. And
I'll tell you.
what's with the police too, in these countries who were not defending the locals? I don't understand this part. Like, I don't know if you could be
Well,
that spineless, or what is going on to where they're actually following that. You would think they would feel like these are my people, but clearly they don't. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what goes through their head. The Henry Nowak video was so incredibly disturbing to watch. You see,
Yeah.
and the part that killed me is he goes, he called him his brother. The police, he called him his brother. He was Polish too.
Yeah.
But at one point, I'm like gonna cry. I can't think about that. But at one point, he's like, I think he said like, "Help me, brother," or like, "I've been
Mm,
stabbed, brother," or something like that. And the guy just goes, "I don't think you have, mate." And
yeah.
he brushes it off. I'll tell you something so sick too. I was listening to what they teach their own people, the imams in the mosques in their schools. And one thing that stood out to me is they were talking about going and attacking women, right, in the West, but they said, well, one more woman that we corrupt, it's like she'll never have babies. So
Mm,
it's like less white people in the future, or less Europeans in the future. And it's
yeah.
like, we don't even think about that. We have this vision in our mind that they're just trying to go out and rape just because maybe they're slow, maybe they're a little bit handicapped, mentally handicapped. No, like they are attacking women to try to reduce the population,
And
and
it's a
that's just a fact.
demoralization
It's a
campaign as well.
demoralization, and 250,000 women. How many of those women are going to go on to get married and have a happy life and have children?
Yeah.
I mean, after you've been through hell, how easy is it to get back onto a normal path? And how many generations? I was talking to my friend about this. With it was really well, you're from Eastern Europe, so but 20 million Russians, Eastern Europeans were killed during World War II. And I was looking at the populations, and I'm like, that would have been 500 million people today. if everyone had like four or
Wow.
five kids. And I'm like, Russia, they for years throughout the colonial periods, they had the world's largest population, and they should, right? They're the biggest country in the world.
Yeah.
I know a lot of it is snow and ice, but um, we went from 30% of the population, worldwide population, to seven within 100 years.
Scary.
250,000. Now we have another 250,000, and a lot of them now they have children from their groomers, from whoever raped them. Um, it's just a disaster. This is just such a disaster. And if we don't turn the tide around, 30 to 7, are we going to lose that extra 7%? When are we going to lose it?
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Um, so it's really disturbing, but there's definitely very sinister heart to all of this diversity, multiculturalism, the migration. It's unbelievable to see
Yeah.
what's happening.
And it is the good part is it does seem like people, at least everyone kind of notices. Even people you would never think noticing or
Yeah.
you never think they would notice are noticing. So I do have hope. I do have a lot of hope in it, but you've also seen the world. So you have a really informed opinion on a lot of this stuff. I've only been to 6 countries. So
Kind of.
what what made you go from seeing these really safe areas to being like, okay, I do want to see the rest of the world and I'm willing to put myself in Iran, in places like this? What's the mentality? Is it just I want to see it for myself or
I'll be honest, some of these places totally surprised me because I went to Central America, for example, and I was expecting Central Americans. I was expecting Hispanics. No, you go to Belize and it's Africa. You go to Belize City and it's very, very unsafe. You go to Honduras and it's not what you would expect. You go to Brazil to the favelas and ooh, it is not. There's no Portuguese there. There's no. Brazil was a Portuguese colony, but
mm,
no, it's very, very dangerous in those places. And after I went to those ones, I thought, well, I didn't want to go to Africa. I really didn't. I didn't want to go to the Middle East. Oh,
oh, looks like it froze on my end. Hello? And where do we get cut off there? Oh, you were talking about you didn't want to go to Africa, but
yeah. I honestly I didn't want to go, but I was very close. I was at like the 50 country mark, and I thought, well, I might as well go. And then one of my friends encouraged me. He was like, well, there's a lot of good stuff in Africa too. There's Namibia and there's the Seychelles. Seychelles are really pretty, and South Africa has a lot. So I kind of changed my mind and I thought, well, I'm just going to go. This was crazy, but I thought I'm just going to go as quickly as I can through Africa.
mm,
And you can't. I thought, oh, I'm just going to spend 2 days in each country. I'm just going to speed run through these countries in
I
Africa.
heard it was difficult to like actually go from one country to the other. Is that true?
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You can't do it. It's not possible. Maybe it is, but no. I tried my best to get through Africa quickly, and you can't. You just can't. Like 3 years later, I'm like, oh yeah, I still have like whatever 6 countries in Africa or whatever the case is.
Mm,
But no, the flights get delayed or something crazy. You probably haven't heard of this, but if there's not enough people on the flight doesn't take off because they don't have enough money for the fuel to like get them from one place to another.
huh.
And it's the same with like a bus. If you take a public bus in Africa or in Central America, like we were talking about, uh, you take a public bus and there's never a time when the seat next to you is open because They will only take off. They'll only start the drive or start the journey once the entire bus is full. So you can sit there and wait like a day, 2 days, 3 days,
Wow.
and you have to wait until the entire bus is full to actually leave, like in Africa.
That sounds
So
like
thinking
hell.
that it is hell, but thinking that you're going to get through Africa quickly, no, it doesn't work like that. I think there's another girl too. I can't remember her age, but she's trying to become the youngest person in the world to visit every single country. And I think she's 20 something. She's in her early 20s. And she's going through Africa. I don't know how accurate her stories are because I don't know if she's counting layovers. I don't count layovers. I don't think that that's
Yeah,
fair.
right.
But I don't see a story from every single country from her or a video from every single one. So I don't know if I don't know how she's doing that. I don't want to judge, but I don't think it's possible to actually go through that quickly. I wanted to do that, but it's not. You can't. You just
Now,
can't.
now with Cape Town, is that a nice place to be?
It's the best. It is the best part of Africa. I would argue Namibia is also it's really exceptional. Namibia is a German colony, an old German colony, and after World War One, after the Germans got stripped of everything, they tried to give it to Britain. Britain was very focused on the Afrikaners. They were focused on South Africa. You know, a lot of people don't know South Africa used to have nukes. You know,
Mm.
their economy at one time, it was better than the United States before the end of apartheid. But they were very focused on South Africa. So they never fully, you know, went through Namibia and completely took it over, right? But you go there today, there's so many Germans that have moved to Namibia. They own a farm there. There's little towns, little German towns where everybody speaks German, everybody is German. It's more German than actual Germany in some parts of Namibia. So they
Okay.
have the best roads. It's on par with a European city or a European country, I should say. So that was one of my favorites. So I am glad that I went to Africa for those reasons. But yeah, Cape Town is amazing. Namibia is amazing. There are there's little tiny parts of Africa that are still on par with the colonial days, right? So they're still pretty developed and safe. Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, what countries were you surprised by? Did you end up going to like China, Russia? Like, where have you?
I'll tell you one I was very surprised by was Eritrea. Have you
Where's
heard of
that?
Eritrea?
No.
They call it the North Korea of Africa.
Okay.
Okay, it was an Italian colony, and they're very very strict in this country. You do anything wrong. Okay, I'll give you an example. They have a bicycling culture in Eritrea.
Okay.
What African country would you ever imagine has a bicycling culture, right? Where you can leave your bicycle out, nobody takes it, you can just leave it anywhere. But they're very very strict. They have tunnels all through the underground part of Asmara, and they use these tunnels for administering punishment. And if you do anything that the government doesn't like, that their dictator doesn't like, basically you get killed, right? But that mentality has turned Eritrea into one of the safest places in all of Africa. It's very, very safe. And what's something interesting is, the rape statistics over in Eritrea are zero. They're actually lower than when the Italians had Eritrea.
Mm.
Now, the Eritreans, if you ever look at the rape statistics throughout Western Europe, they're always in one of the top four Eritreans. It goes like Afghanistan, Syria, and then you'll see Eritrea somewhere up there. So they don't rape in Eritrea. They don't rape their own women in Eritrea because they're afraid of the punishment, but they'll come over to Western Europe and they're always in one of the top four categories
Mm.
for violence and rape and whatnot. But it's never punished in Western Europe. So
Yeah.
they get a slap on the wrist and then they're out again. But yeah, Eritrea was the surprise. It's actually very nice. It's a very clean, safe country to go to in
How long
Africa.
did you stay there?
I was there a week. We went to Asmara and then we went to Massawa. I don't know if you're familiar with it's the Rafi.
Hmm.
I don't, yeah, if you've heard of that, but there was a guy who they like made a god in Eritrea. The Jamaicans made him a god. He
Okay.
visited Jamaica and it started raining and they thought he was a god. So you can go see his little palace there. So that was kind of interesting. And then we went to the Green Island. There's some islands off of Eritrea and we went there too. So yeah, we were there about a week and it was nice. Yeah.
Very cool. And all of Africa, how you did most of it or all of it?
No, I haven't done all of it. I'm still I have I'd like to go to Western Sahara, even though they don't consider that technically it's not a United Nations country, Western Sahara, but I'd like to go there. I have Mali, Niger, Chad, Sudan, and Central African Republic left, and I'm going to Central African Republic pretty soon. That visa is actually not that hard to get, so
Hmm.
that's the next one on my list. But the United States just got banned from Mali, Niger, and Chad, so reciprocity. We
Yeah,
ban them, so they ban us,
got it.
which I'm fine
Okay.
with. I think I was the only one on the visa list, so it doesn't bother me.
And so when most people, whether they're guys or girls, would feel
Yeah.
intimidated to go to a bunch of these countries and travel alone, are you traveling with someone?
Yeah, in some places I definitely did. I went through almost all of West Africa alone. I could not find anybody who wanted to go. I met a couple friends on the way, other travelers.
Hmm.
I have a friend from Ireland who's also trying to get to every country in the world. He teaches English in China. He's a really interesting guy, really nice Irish guy. But no, most of them I had to do alone because you just can't find people
Hmm.
who want to go.
Yeah.
It's I have a lot of other friends in the travel community, but um, most of the time they're also just trying to check off the country from the list. They're not really
Yeah.
they don't yeah they have no interest in the actual countries. So
So you went to Ukraine. Did you go to Russia?
yeah,
What
yeah,
was
I went
Russia
to
like? So
Moscow.
before you say anything, if I ever say anything like, "Oh, it looks pretty over in Russia," or "the train system looks nice," if I ever say anything positive, all my liberal friends are like, "Propaganda, propaganda." You tell me you've been there. What do you think? How much is
I don't.
true? How much isn't
I know
true?
you.
Like
I know you're Polish and Hungarian too. So I'm not. I don't want to.
nothing,
I
nothing
don't want to
offends me.
offend any.
Yeah.
Okay, look, no, it was fantastic. It was one of my favorite places I've ever been to.
Hmm.
I went with my dad in 20. We went in 2018. Maybe it was 2019. I traveled for that whole year. I can't remember. It was 2018 or 2019. But no, we went to Moscow. It was amazing. We stayed at the Four Seasons in Red Square. We went and saw Lenin's body. You can go see his body. It's like preserved there. It was very, very interesting. It was so clean and yeah, it was very, very safe. It was very, very safe. But again, I don't, what maybe you don't like the Russian government. Maybe you think, well, it's corrupt and it's not a good government. But the people they still take, like you were saying, they still take responsibility,
Yeah.
right? And they're not impulsive. They're not aggressive. It's a safe place. Yeah, it's safe and it's clean. So no,
Which is like
we
we're the
have no
most
problems in Russia.
prosperous country in the world. Why don't we have that? I remember seeing people go there and they showed the grocery store. I think it was Tucker Carlson or someone. They showed the
Yeah.
train system. It's like, we don't have any of this. And then the only response we get is like, well, if you go to the outskirts, only that one spot you're filming is nice. This is all propaganda. But it's like, when I was
Mhm.
younger, I didn't really care as much. Now that I'm older, I just want a clean neighborhood that's like safe. Like that's all I really care about. And well, obviously I care about more things, but it's really a basic
Uh,
thing to have.
no, I know, and we used to have it. We can have it again. Um, no, it's the suicidal empathy that we continue to fall into. Um, I wish it wasn't like that, but yeah, we're forfeiting our own safety and our future. It's wild. It's
So
completely wild.
So you loved being in Russia. The reason why I don't take offense to it, I didn't grow up in Poland, so I do know like history and things like that, and I know that
Yeah.
Ukraine has its problems with Poland. Ukraine has its problems, but I see them all as like very like we're all Slavic. There's some like overlap, and then of course history happens. So
But also the people who were doing those things to the other countries, they weren't Russians.
yeah.
I have to say it. They weren't Russians. Those weren't Russian people that were committing those horrible acts in Eastern Europe. The
Mm.
Russian people, no, they don't. I don't think you take an average Russian and an average Ukrainian and they're going to hate each other. I just don't.
Yeah, I
They're
definitely think it's
basically family. You look at their DNA and it matches, right?
exactly. So it's like they are being like turned against each other. They're led and misled by people who are foreign, maybe, or
Yeah,
propaganda. So that's really why I would never take offense. It's like I would like for Russia to do well. I'd like for Ukraine to do well, and of course I want
yeah.
Poland to do well. And I care about Poland more because I'm Polish. My father's from there. Um, but okay, Russia. So how about China?
I liked Russia. I'm sorry. I liked China too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had no problems in China. I went to Beijing. No, it's very, very clean. Everyone was very nice. Yeah, I had no problems in any of these places. We get so much propaganda from all of these different countries. But no,
So
and I mean, oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, social credit score in China, is that like a fake thing? Or is that a real thing?
It's completely fake.
I
So
listened to an interview with someone saying that's complete shit.
I asked someone, I felt like such an airhead. And I asked a Chinese man, I've actually asked a couple because I thought, well, maybe they're just not telling me the truth. I met a Chinese man in Nigeria, of all places, because the Chinese are all over Africa. So you can actually very easily find Chinese people in Africa. Um, no, I've talked to so many, and yeah, I feel like an airhead because I'm like, hey, do you have some social credit score where like you get in trouble and you're not allowed to do certain things if you like, jaywalk? And they're like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, a credit score? Yeah, we have a credit score. Yeah, like if you don't pay back your debt, then your credit goes down. And I'm like, oh, so like the same credit score that we get from our government
Yeah.
that's in like trillions of dollars of debt. And they're like, yeah, like you have a hard time buying a home and getting a loan if your credit score's down. And they had no idea what I was talking about. They're like, what are you talking about? We don't have a social credit score. And I'm like, don't you have some kind of a network where like the government watches your behavior and if you're bad? And I'm sitting there and I'm going, no, like literally the only country that I can think of that actually has something like that right now is the United Kingdom, where they're trying to impose the age ban on social media.
Yeah.
If you're under 16, you can't use social media. So you have to upload all your identity and all of your driver's license and all your information.
Hmm.
So if you say something wrong on the internet, then yeah, the police come knocking on your door, which they actually do.
Yeah.
But no, that's the closest thing to a police state that I know of. And China does not have anything like that. It's a complete lie that we're told.
It's wild. And it's like they make it seem like when they tell you that Palantir is basically there and it's doing that where it's tracking everything. They see you jaywalk. They
It's in
see now you
Israel.
can't now you can't buy a soda at the soda machine because your score's too low.
It's yeah. I Well, the crazy thing too is like I remember seeing these stories on reputable news stations in the United States. Like I remember like I'm trying to think of the ones like CNN.
Mhm.
If you search for that social credit score, the first things that'll pop up are all of these major news networks in the United States.
Yeah.
It's not conspiracy theorists, and I'm going, well, who's actually the conspiracy theorist here? If you're putting this on a major news network, and it's a lie, but you're
Yeah.
telling everybody in the United States that this is the truth. I mean, what are we supposed to believe? It's like we can't. We have no.
Yeah, I think if they can
Wild. It's just
I
wild.
think if they can convince us because people like they say the US leads the rest of the world, the rest of Europe, whatever. If they
Yeah.
can convince us, they'll easily convince everybody else. But I seen this post on Instagram. I want to read it to you. So let me get this straight. If you're 11, you can change your gender, but you can't use
Hmm.
social media until you are 16 in the UK because it's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? You can also be a child prostitute. If you're a 10 or 11 years old, you might get jailed for being a child prostitute. That's what they were saying to these little girls when they would go into an apartment and there were six, Pakistani Muslim men raping little girls. They would blame the girls and go, well, it's public intoxication and they're child prostitutes. There's no such thing as a child prostitute. There's no such thing as a 10-year-old child prostitute. It's sick. It's just
Yeah,
totally
it's evil.
sick.
Yeah.
It's evil. Yeah, it is. It is absolutely evil. But yeah, I mean, the only place state I know of that really does stuff like that is the United Kingdom right now. That's the only place.
And then you have Piers Morgan, who's like, everything's fine here. I don't notice anything different. We have better food now. It's like, you are, isn't that being like a traitor to your country? Like, what are you doing?
I can't
He's like the
stand
biggest
Pierce
voice out
Morgan.
of the UK.
I know. I know he is. Yeah, and his interviews are so lackluster. He always
Mm.
tries to do the gotchas, and
Yeah.
it's so easy to get through them. All I see every single person he interviews blast through those like it's nothing. It's almost comical at this point to watch because everybody just goes, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'm a racist, whatever." I saw Valentina, Valentina from
Yeah.
Texas.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean it was comical to watch him try to interview her. She's a 20 something year old woman and he's supposed to be 50, 60-year-old man who's been interviewing for ages and it was just it's a joke. It's just
Yeah.
a complete joke.
Yeah.
Um
When they were bringing up the 250,000 young British girl inquiry, he's
yeah.
like, but there's the younger Syrian refugee boy who was made the documentary where he was defamed. Like, he's more upset and worried about that than he is about the girls who are getting killed, and it makes no sense.
It makes literally no sense, and it's so disgusting and offensive to watch him. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so awful to hear somebody deflect from something so evil and awful. He
That's
doesn't
why I'm
care,
like,
you know.
you can't even rationalize it anymore. You if you
Uh-uh.
sit there, just you're not going to get through because they're purposely doing it that way. They're just never going to
Yeah.
be open to it. We think we can reason with some people. It's like you can't.
No. No, absolutely not. No. No. And I often wonder, I mean, what makes these people do this? Because even for money or for power, I couldn't even imagine doing half of the sinister evil things that they do. I mean, yeah, you're bringing in millions of foreigners for votes. It just doesn't seem like that's not even enough. You're not getting enough power and enough money to do something so evil. It doesn't even
You know?
seem rational that somebody would do that. But I don't think a lot of these people really aren't our people, right? So it's they don't care, you know, they don't see us as anything.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot. Top three favorite European countries.
Oh no, that's not putting me on the spot at all.
Okay.
Iceland's number one. Iceland's
Okay.
definitely number one. I
Really?
mean,
Why?
it's like it's a land of the Vikings. You feel like a Viking when you're walking around there. It's amazing. No, the landscape's amazing. You can sit on a black beach, black sand from volcanic ash, and you look out in the distance, and there's snow-covered mountains.
Hmm.
It's just like it's pretty amazing, right? I mean, there's really nowhere else in the world where you can sit on the beach and look at snow-covered mountains.
Yeah.
But yeah, the landscape is just so amazing. It's so clean. It's so beautiful.
Have
There's
you
beautiful nature. Oh
have
yeah,
you
go ahead.
seen Vikings the show? Have you ever watched that or no?
I watched a little bit of it. I
Yeah.
haven't had time to get through all of it.
I loved
Let
it.
me
My
ask,
favorite show.
have you seen have you seen the movie that's coming out, Citizen Vigilante? It's
Mm-mm.
been banned in Europe.
I seen your story today. I was going to check it out after the
Oh
interview.
yeah. Oh yeah, I posted about it. I couldn't
Mm.
believe that they were able to get it out. You know, I was shocked
I
that they
don't
were
know
able
what it
to.
is yet. I didn't. I seen that you posted it and I saved it so I could look at it later. Tell me about it.
I haven't watched it yet either, but I'm going to because it seems like a really good, you know, it seems like an old James Bond. That's just what
Mm.
like an old James Bond movie was years ago, right? It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
normal a normal European taking out the bad guys. That's kind of what it looks like. But yeah, I haven't seen it either. But I'm very, very curious about it because it was banned in Europe. You know, the bad guys, they're Muslims, so they're not allowed to show the movie because you can't have a bad guy be a Muslim in a movie. That's not politically correct and very, very bad. So yeah, the whole movie got banned. But yeah, I'm very curious about that. I'm sorry. So back to Iceland. No, no, it's amazing. I'm sorry. What else did you say? You said something else.
I just
You were
said
talking
about the
about.
show. I interrupted you because I was like,
Oh
"Did you
yeah,
see
no, the
Vikings?"
show. No, I haven't seen the show, but no, Iceland's amazing. There's been so many movies filmed there too because the landscape is so amazing. It's such a unique place. And yeah, it's very clean. I haven't been there in a long time though, so I don't know if it's been completely dismantled and transformed by um, the woke politically correct diversity gang,
Yeah.
but I hope it hasn't been because I remember going there in 2018 and it was just like the most magical place in the world. Switzerland's amazing. I was very disappointed with Switzerland because they had a vote on capping their population at 10 million, I think in 2050, and it got voted down because people were afraid that it was going to I guess mitigate the trade between the European Union and Switzerland. So it's very, very close. It was like 47 to 53, I think, or is very, very close. But they knocked it down. But no, I love it because it's very fancy and bougie, and you feel very, it's like old Paris, right? Like there's
Mhm.
lots of little cafes. It's beautiful. It's clean, but it's still very safe. I have no idea what my third one is. That's so hard.
You
Um,
can think about it. I want to ask you: Have you ever
I have
seen a
no
movie
idea.
called
Yeah.
Before Sunrise?
No, I haven't.
So they go to what's the city in Austria? With the
Like
V?
Salzburg or something.
Mm, is it Austria? I'm thinking of. What town do they go to? Something with a V, I think. Let me look. There's a movie called Before Sunrise, and they go to this city. I think it's in Austria, and
Mhm.
it's like the most beautiful city. And I'm like, I always want to go there. And then I see footage now where it's like it's all like graffitied and destroyed and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Let me look. But yeah, so a third one. So you've been to all of Europe. Top two are Iceland,
Iceland and Switzerland. I
Switzerland,
don't know what my third one is. There's a lot that I love, but it's so hard to like knock out the other
Vienna.
ones.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah, Vienna's so amazing. They have so much amazing artwork too. Like I think that's my favorite art museum is in Vienna. If you're an art person,
Okay.
and it's not the stupid modern art. It's like the old like classical like good art. Good good Western art. So, yeah, that was amazing. I'm trying to think of my third one. I honestly don't know. That's so hard. I'm very Scottish. I have to say Scotland. I know it's not really a country; it's part of the
No,
United Kingdom, but no, I love
no,
Scotland.
that counts for sure.
It's magical
It
there.
looks like Harry Potter. That's what people always say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. It is like Harry Potter. Yeah, it's otherworldly. So, and I love Scottish people. I don't know if
Definitely
you've
on
been
my
catching up
list.
with the have you seen the World Cup? What's going on in Boston with the Scots and the
Mm-mm.
locals? They're they're uh they're they're saying they're going to put statues up of like the time when the Tartan Army, they call themselves the Tartan Army, the soccer fans or the football fans from Scotland. But they're just the Bostonians, I should say, and the Scots are getting along so well, and it's a love affair, right? Because that's kind of a lot of our traditions and our culture came from Scotland. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, we love the
So it's a
Scottish.
good thing. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
good. Um, Japan. Have you been to Japan?
yeah, I love Japan too. I love Japan. That's like it's so amazing. I know it's not in Europe, but
Yeah.
oh
No,
my
no,
gosh,
I'm
yeah,
switching out there just because these are some of my
yeah.
either curious ones or I really want to go. And Japan's like a big one I've always wanted to see myself.
I want to go back. I only went once, but no, Japan is amazing. I'm very, very worried about what's going on in Japan. I have a Japanese friend I was just talking to over in Algeria. Actually, I met him in Algeria, and they're going through with building the mosques in Japan, which is wild. The my friend is a little bit more liberal than I would have expected. And he goes, well, I don't really have a problem with the mosques, but they're wanting to bury their dead people. And we think that's germy, in their religion, they cremate. So they think
Mhm.
it's cleaner to cremate somebody than to bury them. And he goes, I'm worried about disease. I'm worried about that. And I'm like, I'm worried about it. I'm worried about everything for you guys. Like, I'm worried about all of it. A lot of people, they don't realize that, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Lebanon, Syria, those all used to be Christian countries. Like Ariana used to be the old name of Afghanistan. It means land of the Aryans, So all of the Middle East used to be Christian and Buddhist, some parts Buddhist, but
Yeah.
you know, we don't want to see Japan go down that road. We love Japanese people. We don't want to see that happen to them. We don't want to see Japanese girls being raped or
Yeah.
hurt,
Yeah. Culture of like respect and honor your,
I know.
elders. And they
I
have a
know.
lot of great culture.
Well, and the best thing about Japan when I went was just being around only Japanese people. That was like the best part about Japan is it's all homogenous. That was
Mhm.
like the nice part about it. And I'm going, please don't lose your culture. Don't lose what makes Japan Japan, right?
See, for me, it's one thing if like naturally over the next 1, 2, 3,000 years, things do just all get blended together. I think that, eventually that may happen over time. But when it's forced by governments and legislation, it's like, no, fuck this. Like,
It's absolutely forced. Yeah. But yeah, I mean yeah, I don't want to see that happen. I don't see why it would happen. I mean, we have endangered species. We have animals that are endangered that we keep and we protect,
yeah,
and we want to their population to expand. Right? It's wild that we wouldn't do that with our own people, like with human beings.
yeah, not and
It's
they cheer
just
for it. It's like it's a good thing.
I know. I know we're supposed to be for it. Could you imagine cheering when a bald eagle is shot? That's kind of how it feels when they're cheering and
Yeah,
saying, "Oh, it wasn't 250,000. It's okay." Europe needs to be more diverse. It's kind of like shooting a bald eagle. It's kind of like seeing an animal from one of those species die when we're 7% of the world.
yeah, and you'd think they have their limits, and they don't. They just blow past your expectations of how low they can go.
Yeah.
Um, so you were in Japan how long?
I was there for 2 weeks and it was not enough time. I went to Tokyo. I went to I went to, they call it Hiroshima, or they say Hiroshima, not Hiroshima, but I went to Hiroshima, and I went to Kyoto, and I really want to go back and go to the north and see the snow monkeys. I don't know if you've seen pictures of them. They're
Yeah.
so cute.
Hmm.
They
Hmm.
hang out in these like little natural saunas, and it's on my bucket list. I have to go up there and see them someday. So
How's
I
the
want to go
food
back.
there?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's like the best food in the entire world. I love it. But I'll tell you, I'm so jaded because I had ramen over there, and the broth was just amazing. I went to this like famous ramen place. It's like this little tiny ramen shop with only 5 seats, and you have to stand outside in line. And I did. It was hours in line, but I didn't care. I like really wanted to go to this place, but it ruined ramen for me. I can't have ramen anymore because the broth was just so creamy and like amazing. It was just like it was the best ramen in my whole life. And so I every time that somebody wants to go out for ramen, I'm like, yeah, okay, we'll do it. But
Yeah,
no,
I can
it'll
imagine.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you get jaded off of their food. It's so amazing.
When I went to Hawaii, I was surprised at how many Japanese people were in Hawaii. And they were
Oh
like, yeah, we
yeah.
have like a 7 hour flight from Japan to Hawaii. So we're here all the time.
Yeah, I haven't been to Hawaii. That's one
Oh,
place you've been. I
really?
haven't been.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
it's the best place
God, I
I
want
ever
to go.
been for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, I really want to go. I've been to all the countries in the South Pacific, but no, Hawaii's on my list. So,
Well,
yeah.
I grew up here in the East Coast. I get off the plane and it's like breathing air for the first time in your life. Like it's so
Yeah.
fresh. And
Oh,
I remember for three
that's so
days I'm
cool.
just coughing and coughing like I quit smoking or something. And then it's like I could breathe.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Oh,
So
that's
Hawaii,
really
you
cool.
haven't been there. Um, so what would be you mentioned the African countries you haven't gone to. Is there any of the other ones that stand out as like I still have to go, I have to figure out how to do it or
Yeah, North Korea. A lot of people, so this is what most people do that have been to every country in the world. They've been to every country in the world. And I don't know how, again, you can be the judge of this. I don't know if it counts. I don't know. I don't really count this,
yeah,
in my opinion, but a lot of people do.
it's
It's kind of
cheating.
like they go, okay, a lot of people go to Somalia, but they don't actually go to Mogadishu. They go to Somaliland. Somaliland's totally different than Somalia. So it's not really, you didn't really go to Somalia if you went to Somaliland. And
Okay.
that'll make a lot of people mad, but that's the truth. A lot of people go to South Korea and they go to, I think it's the DMX or something like that. Is that what it's called? The DMX? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Where you get to the border where it's like the border of South Korea, North Korea, and you can like step over the line and they say, oh, now you're in North Korea.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And people will count that and say, oh, yeah, I went to North Korea. Like I
I
stepped
seen
over the line.
I seen someone who did a running race in
Yeah.
North Korea that like counted, like they were allowed to do that for some reason. I didn't
Yeah, he
fully
signed up to
understand
be
it.
in the
Yeah.
Olympics. I know what you're talking about. And,
Oh,
and that's the only way that he was able to get over to North Korea. I think realistically, what I'm probably going to do is get another passport. So you can get like, you can buy a passport from Nauru for like $90,000. I don't want to do that, but I think I'm going to have to because I don't think there's another way. I'm
yeah.
not going to be able to get to North Korea. Iran, I applied 5 times before the war started to go to Iran, got denied 5 times. I don't know when that's going to end. And even when it does end, there's this period where, there's this lag period, right? Where of course, they're not going to let Americans come in after that.
Yeah.
I was shocked with Venezuela. I'm going to Venezuela next month. It was hard for a long time. It was very hard to get the Venezuelan visa. You go in, they wanted all your bank statements, your criminal record. Um, and even when you turn in everything, they just ignore you. They wouldn't give you back the visa. So now it's online, totally online. It's free. You can go apply, and given that may change, it might not be like that forever. But right now, it's like totally free. And I got a year long multi-entry visa for free to Venezuela. So that was fantastic. So
Awesome.
things change all the time. But no, I have Iran, I have Yemen, and Turkmenistan. Turkmenistan's going to be interesting. I don't know if you've seen, I think it's called the Gate to Hell, and it's a big crater that has burning gas in it in
I
Turkmenistan.
haven't
It's a
seen
very
it, no.
kind of famous, yeah, I'm going to go see that. So I'm excited for that. I don't really have any other ones. Those are my last ones.
So,
So
so you're willing to pay 90K to check it off the list for
I
the
have to. I have to. What else am I going to
Yeah,
do?
no, I mean it's
I need another
respectable
passport.
for
I have
sure.
another friend he says he's been to every country in the world, but a couple of them he kind of cheated on, like he did a layover
Mhm.
for some of them, and I don't think that counts. But he has a Swiss passport, and the Swiss passport will get you everywhere, and it's very hard to get. So, um, Yeah, I need another passport to get to those last ones. I'll get to
I
them somehow.
so I have to get a new passport myself.
Yeah.
I actually went today, and because mine is somewhere in storage in my closet, I didn't bring it with me. My old one, you have to turn it in. So they gave me another paper I had to fill out, and they're like, by the way, it's going to take too long. You can't use your appointment right now. So I have to go back to get my just U.S. passport.
Are
But
you close to Washington, D.C.?
I'm like 5 hours, I think, three
So
hours, four
I've
hours.
I've done this before, but you can get it next day in Washington. You have to pay a little bit extra, but you can get it next day if you go to the
Really?
Washington, D.C. location. Yeah.
Okay, so you just go there and bring your paperwork and
I think
take
it's
it.
$160 if I remember correctly, but yeah, you can get it next
What's
day. You just don't
160
need to get
anyway?
rushed.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else? We can have two US passports at one time. You just tell them that you travel a lot and they'll give you two. And I like to do that because if I do lose one, I'm not stuck somewhere.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So you could, yeah, you can get another one, but you have to go to Washington. I don't know if it's worth the drive for you. It's a 5 hour drive.
Yeah, well, it's not bad. I think it's three actually. I just went there for a job interview, but I wanted to get your advice, and we'll wrap up here. I appreciate your time. Um, I
It's my
plan
pleasure.
on, I plan on. So I got an online job recently, so I'm able
Yeah,
to do sales online. So
nice.
that frees me up to go do some traveling, which I'm excited about, especially because the U.S. dollar is still strong relative, especially over in Eastern Europe.
Mhm.
And I have a tutor, and she tells me that, if you make 3 grand, you're living like a king over there. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll see how this goes. But I plan on traveling. I do want to go stop in the UK. Oh, probably in October. I'm gonna stop in the UK, maybe do that underwater train ride you were talking
Mhm.
about. I have a friend in the Netherlands. I'm gonna stay with her for a couple weeks, and then
Mhm.
I'm going to Sweden. My father's brother lives in Sweden. He's Polish,
Mhm.
and he's gonna help me because my father passed 2 years ago. He's gonna help me get like his death certificate and things like that. Because by
Mhm.
descent, I do have the right to have a Polish passport, which opens me
Mhm.
up to all of Europe. And then I'm going to go over to Poland for a few months, depending on how long I can stay.
Yeah.
Schengen's like 3 months or something. But any advice, any tips? What part of Poland did you stay in? I would be curious about that as well. And what did you think of Georgia? Because I was like, if I had to do a visa run, could go to Georgia for a little while because the U.S. has like a 1 year, like,
Oh, Georgia. I wish you would have told me where the best food was because I would have told you Georgia. That's my favorite
mm,
for food.
okay,
Have you had Georgian food?
no,
Oh my gosh, you have to go to Georgia. You have to go. I went there for 2 weeks and I just ate. I was just a pig and I just ate my way through Georgia. No, it's amazing.
it's a
They
good
have some of the
country
best.
to visit.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. And they have these dumplings called oh my gosh, what are they called? They're called I even went to a cooking class there. They're called kachapuri. Yeah, kachapuri. They're amazing. You have to go to Georgia. I really, yeah, and it's affordable too. You
Yeah.
don't you don't end up spending an arm and a leg for Georgia. I don't know. I don't know what advice to give you. You're gonna have fun though. I mean,
Yeah.
you're no, just do whatever you want. You know Poland. Do you
I
speak
have a
Polish?
tutor, so I spent the year
Oh, okay.
learning, but I'm pretty slow with it. So, I'll
Oh,
get
that's
there.
gonna be
Being there is
amazing.
going to help.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I loved Poland. You're
What
gonna go to
cities
Hungary
did you
too?
go to?
I went to hold on. I have a list in my phone. I can't remember every single one of them off the top of my head, unfortunately.
Oh, you have a good
Um,
memory. So the city I'll
I,
be staying in is Wrocław. Wrocław.
is it near the capital?
So it's this one here. It is
Oh,
more.
I know
It
that
is
one.
more west.
Oh, that's gonna be so cool.
Yeah. No,
Oh my
So
gosh.
I went there in 2014 and I loved it, and I couldn't appreciate it at the time as much as I will now. Um,
Yeah.
and especially like the quality, they don't put all the same chemicals in the food as here, the cleanliness, all that stuff. I'm really going to eat it up. And so
Yeah.
one of the things, like, I want to get over there into I've never been to Hungary, being half Hungarian, but if things ever do change, I want to be able to see it when it's the way it is now. If anything ever
Yeah.
happens in the future with the governments and then it gets destroyed or whatever, not destroyed, but like it starts to go through the same problems as the West, I want to be
Hmm.
able to see it in like its prime. Because when my father grew up, it was under the communism. So he fled to America when he became 18 because he didn't want to live there. Then he went back when he got older, and he's like, now Poland is what the US used to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And their economy is doing so well now. They're doing
Yeah.
better than the United Kingdom. No, I went to Warsaw and I have okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. This I don't know how to pronounce everything perfectly. I'm not. I don't. I'll be the first person to say that. I maybe you know how to pronounce this. Oswiecim. Oshwichim.
Yeah, sounds
Uh,
right.
I don't know.
I've
Sounds
never
right.
been there though.
Anyway, yeah, those are my two places I went to in Poland, but it was amazing. I'm so excited for you. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah,
You're going to
yeah,
love
I'm
it.
excited because I didn't want to just save money, then go over there and blow all the
Yeah.
money, then come back and work. But if I can make some money while I'm doing it, it's like win-win.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, that's so
Well,
cool.
Emily, thank you so much. This has been
Oh,
fascinating. I
thank
hope
you.
everyone liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. It was so much fun. I thought we were going to talk about sleep, and
That's true.
I had sleep in my mind. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready for all the sleep questions.
I got so
No, but this was
fascinated with
even better.
everything. Yeah, I forgot about all the sleep stuff. But
No,
we'll
that's
have to
great.
have you back
But
on in
yeah,
the
thank
future,
you.
maybe, and we'll talk about sleep tips for travelers because I don't know how you got any rest on all that traveling.
That
Of
sounds good. No, well, enjoy your trip and enjoy the rest of your week. It was so much fun. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
course. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
You too. Bye.